It's easy to take for granted the tools we use in photography, filmmaking, and everything in between. Things like tripods, support arms, clamps, stands, and countless items that have evolved over the years, but in many ways have remained the same. So, I just got a brief tour of the Manfrotto headquarters in Bassano del Grappa, Italy. And it's not every day that you get the chance to learn about a storied company like this. And I really mean that because it occurred to me while I was here that I've been using Manfrotto products in one way or another for 20 years now, which is interesting to say. And even though I could spend all day learning about the history, the early years of the company, we're actually here for something new. So come along with me. Nestled right below the Pre-Alps, Bassano offers breathtaking views, every photo you could possibly take, from the centuries-old architecture to the mountainous landscape that lies ahead. I wish we had time to talk about it, but I do have one quick history lesson for the ride over. In the late 1960s, Lino Manfrotto began selling photo support gear that would eventually come to be sold internationally. He later partnered with Gilberto Battocchio, who brought mechanical and technical expertise to the table, and by 1974 launched the first Manfrotto tripod. By the 80s, the company already had multiple plants in Bassano, but eventually expanded and then moved to Feltre, which is where we're headed today.
Ooh, here we are. Can you believe this? Look at this view. I wish I had this every day at work. Well, we're very fortunate to be here today at the Manfrotto factory among the Dolomites, and we're gonna see something truly special and new. They're gonna show us their new Manfrotto ONE system, and it's a unique tripod and tripod head solution. It's so much more than that though, and we're about to learn. So let's go right in and get a tour.
Now, even though I knew what we were here for, I needed a little introduction first, something to get me comfortable with the gear. Greeting me and the team was Paolo Fisson, who explained the new system in detail. And don't worry, we're going to see it in action later on.
Here we have the new Manfrotto ONE, a very nice user experience. So as soon as you're opening the box, you can immediately understand the key USP of the product. You can discover step by step what's inside. So you will find the new Manfrotto ONE tripod and the head, of course, inside. Here we have the carbon fiber version. We are also going to have the aluminum version available. This new baby is basically made with new components. We had two main focus areas here. The first one is the leg area, and the other is what we are calling core. As you can see from outside, the shape of the cube is completely different, and it is the perfect mechanical solution proposed from our side to propose the best rigidity in terms of photo and video. Because Project One, as you can understand from the name, is becoming the solution for both video and photo application. Because we tried, and actually we were able to put all the features coming from photo tripod and all the features coming from video tripod merging into one unique mechanical solution. And it is something completely different from the current solution. I'm sure you know, but as soon as I need to level a Manfrotto video tripod at the moment, I need to screw and unscrew, you know, so it takes a lot of time. In this way, as you can see here, from the legs to the leveling to the modularity, everything is based on quick action gestures. So again, in a matter of seconds, I can set it up quickly. As last feature here that we would like to propose is what we are calling exchange. So how it works. Now you can see it is blocked for safety reason. There is this pin here, small pin. As soon as I'm switching the pin in open position, I can detach the plate. Okay. In this case, the plate features a standard 3/8. So if I have a standard head, a current head, I simply need to screw this plate on the base, and it is becoming
that becomes the exchange.
An exchange. If you are taking the new 500X, The head is already coming with this shape on the base, okay? And still we have the 3/8. So it means that if I have a current tripod, I can still use the 3/8. If I'm using Manfrotto ONE, I can immediately attach the head on top, and it is already locked.
Wow.
Okay. And as you can see here, it is, again, 0-second operation to assemble it. So everything is becoming together. So spike fit, new legs, new locking solution, leveling, sliding, modularity, Q90, exchange, landing to the hook, and easy link here.
It's got
so
everything.
We try to put everything inside. So it is very exciting for us. It's a very important moment for Manfrotto as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'm honestly having trouble figuring out where I wouldn't be able to use this. Like the ability, the leveling itself is huge, no matter where you go, because I know I'm constantly, even if I'm just moving within a room, sometimes there might be differences in the level of the floor or the carpet itself changes. Every little situation just makes you need to re-level. And then, you know, of course, I'm always changing from low angle to high angle. So that adds another layer of rebalancing. And just being able to do that really quickly is I think that's gonna change a lot of people's workflows.
Our main goal was to take out users' focus on the support, keeping it on shooting. And we are not, let's say, limiting the freedom around the tripod, because we are also launching the 500X. That is basically following the same philosophy of Manfrotto ONE tripod, because we try to merge as well photo and video head features in one single product. So as you can see, it is a new member of the bridging technology. It features fluidity on pan and tilt. We implemented a new counterbalance solution, so it is now possible to choose between on and off, mainly because for photo application, users prefer not to have the counterbalance, but while starting shooting video, they prefer to have counterbalance.
Right.
We changed with one gesture operation, again, the locking solution for the plate, and something unique at the moment, as you can see here, with just one gesture, I can move from landscape to portrait. So
and it locks, I like
absolutely,
that.
It is perfectly rigid.
Yeah.
And so coming back to your point, you are in a room and you need to move, you need to level, you need to change height. Most probably, you also need to change the format from landscape to portrait. That is becoming even more important for video application. So merging photo and video features, this is the solution.
So I want to come over here. We have basically a bunch of prototype versions of some of the broken out components. So you can see exactly what goes into the new ONE system and the work that's gone along the way, which is a lot. But let's get right into that actually. So what exactly are we looking at right here?
All the stage of the prototype that it was, let me say, guiding us to the final version of the product nowadays.
And this is basically from the earliest to the
This is the first
final
prototype,
right?
Yeah, that we developed with a workshop with the team, and then through different stages, iterative cycles of design. So user insight, prototype definition, and user validation. So always turning to arrive to the final version.
This is so fascinating to see the evolution of it, and I can definitely see how you went through all the stages, you know, collecting that information and seeing just what worked and what didn't work. It's really fascinating. Because this is addressing new and evolving needs of hybrid shooters and people who use both horizontal and vertical orientation, that in itself is reflective of a bigger change in how cameras work. And because of that, you do have the freedom to look at your shot and then move and adjust things. To go between those decisions the old way is frustrating, but I think it accommodates the way that people want to work now.
Yeah, they want to be as smooth as possible during all the operation. Is that for the reason why we try to approach the product and develop the product to be really for any activity, one gesture.
And with that, I put on my vest and followed the team along to see how the Manfrotto ONE is made. Now this is what I came for. Forget being the proverbial kid in a candy store. This is the candy factory, and it is so sweet to be here. Before we continue though, remember how I said some things have remained the same over the years?
So we have here the legendary super clamp. I've seen these everywhere. Oh, wow. This is as fresh as it gets.
Yeah.
Right off the line. It's weird, these are so ubiquitous. I see these everywhere and I'm watching them be put together for the first time. It's fascinating watching these everyday items that we take for granted on set just come to life. We're watching the professional hands-on polish really get applied here. They're built, inspected, packaged up for the first time. I kind of love seeing this happen.
I know this is a factory, but seeing so many copies of every little piece of these common everyday tools that are on set is just delightful. In this first building alone, we got to see hands-on assembly and testing for each one unit. Here, for example, they're ensuring correct tightness and spacing for the spider's locking mechanism. The tool above is calibrated to a specific torque for consistent results, and you'll see later on how useful that lock really is.
So we've been looking around Manfrotto's factories for a little bit right now, and everything is kind of blowing my mind. I wish I could just spend all day watching how it's made. It's been fascinating. And right here I have the brand new 500X head. In fact, what you're seeing around me is the final assembly and quality control for the head. So we looked at it a little bit before, but let's just take a closer look. You can see right here, starting from the bottom, we have the exchange system. This is native to this head, so this is designed specifically to be used that way. But of course, like we said, 3/8/16 on the bottom as well, so you can use it traditionally. Now, onto the new stuff that's really fun, the 90-degree lock right here. It's strong, and this was something that really concerned me, not in a bad way per se, but this is new. This is something that I was wondering about, and to see it's made of a very strong aluminum here, it locks into place. There's no question of where this is, so it is 90 degrees, and it can't be locked in a middle position. So you can see actually as I play with it, it won't lock. So it only locks in 90. Go right back down, and it locks in its normal position. Now, the lock mechanism for the plate has also been changed a bit. Not only does it now face the user, but it can be operated with one hand. Now, obviously I don't have sticks beneath me right now, so I'm gonna just simulate this for you. But if I were to hold this here, I can just use my thumb on the lock, like that, finger here, and it comes out. So then put it right back down, comes right back into place. Again, pin, lever, right, with one hand. So really secure, really solid. And behind me, what's going on actually is they're checking basically that the unit works within expected parameters. Each one of these is hand checked so that they know things like resistance, drag, making sure that the plate doesn't slip, for example, with ample pressure on it so that the lock is strong enough that it operates as expected. You don't want this slipping, of course. And it's really nice to see that this is all hand tested and then entered into a system. So you know exactly what you're getting.
Ever wonder what the fluid in fluid head means? This robotic arm precisely applies a proprietary solution in between the grooves of the fluid cartridge, and this cartridge is what's inside a fluid tripod head. For all the planning and research that does go into something like the ONE system, sometimes new ideas are more spontaneous and demand a faster approach. That's where the Pioneer Lab comes in. Products are rapidly designed and prototyped here to try completely new ideas. And thanks to some serious heavy-duty CNC machinery, those ideas come to life pretty fast. I was shown the basic process from start to finish, but nothing beats looking through the window, trying to get a glimpse of mechanical magic in action.
If you've ever built model kits, you know how fun this is. Look familiar? We are in the painting facility here at Manfrotto. This is, I believe, basically a cover for the column that gets locked to cover all the tripod legs. Another interesting piece of the puzzle.
Parts here, parts there. There are parts everywhere. Some of the process is indeed automated, and it needs to be, because can you guess how many components are in the One system? 88 in the 500X head, and as for the legs, 205. The testing lab is used for, you guessed it, testing. But this is more on a conceptual and design level. The very idea of One tripods is put to the test here, which is why they have every single part laid out for you to see. And needless to say, I was kind of shocked at the attention to detail, not to mention the pride and confidence in the research and development process. Not something you see every day.
So speaking of testing, one of the last things we're going to look at today is the endurance testing room. And really, this is where Manfrotto pushes their tripods to the limit. They have to know if it can endure at least 5,000 repetitions of basically every movement. Think about the rigors of production anytime you're on set. You're lifting up a tripod, you're bringing it back down, moving it all over set. You're constantly collapsing legs, unlocking and relocking levers, twisting knobs. There's so many mechanics at play here. You know, we were just over there a moment ago, and you could see how many points there are that have to be tested. So in here, we have the angle that the leg can lift, open and close. We have the extension of the leg column itself. How many times can it endure that? They even have a little device here that's testing the locking lever for the spider, which is part of the head. And just to see it go up and down, over and over is kind of cute, I'm not gonna lie. But could you do any movement 5,000 times? Because I know I couldn't. Anyway, I think we should test this for ourselves. Let's go. And what better place than Venice? Everywhere you turn, there's color, there's people, history, architecture, water, just the natural beauty of the city. And it's so hard to capture. One, because you have to walk a lot, you have to walk everywhere, it can be very busy, but because it is old, it's an uneven surface and you have stairs everywhere, much like the ones that we're above right now. But luckily, we have the Manfrotto ONE series with us. I've got a camera in my bag, so we're gonna see just how well it works traversing the city. Let's go. So we have some gondolas coming through here. There's a little bridge with some steps. Great time to test out the leveling functionality of the new ONE system because there's actually two ways to level it really fast. Stairs in general are always a little tricky. Follow me. If you go up here, you know, normally having to spread the three legs across is a little challenging. So to start, we're just gonna keep it straight. We're gonna unlock everything on the floor like this. Pull up, we can see it's out. Now, let's open the legs up and push it down gently against the floor. You can see it's just automatically falling right into place. Can lock it off like that. That gets me 90% of the way. But I can open up the lever right here and adjust the head and lock it in. So that's how quickly you can adjust this. Now let's just pop the camera on here. And again, just clicks right in. That's satisfying, isn't it? Okay, let's see what we've got going on. Actually, it's kind of sunny. I'm gonna go right in here. Beautiful. And really frame it up easy. And if we want, because I think it actually makes sense here, I'm just gonna move this up a little bit. Should be roughly the same level. And then, boom. Right into portrait mode, which for this works perfectly. And I think I can bring this up more. So now there's actually a few ways to do this. I could raise this, but probably the quickest way to do this would be to raise the column up just a hair, which gives me a little more height without having to reorient the legs. Let's see, right there, and we got maybe one more coming in right here. Let's see if we can get it. Look at this. Let me see how wide we can make that. So I really like how the light is just on the wall here, highlighting the line of all the boats. And let's see, do it both ways. I can do landscape. Keep it fairly wide. But I want that, you know, real compression. Do wish I had a longer lens for this, but let's see how it looks. So, right to 90 degrees, portrait mode, boom. And let's see how this looks. Okay, pretty happy with that. But we're not just here for photo, we're here for video as well. And who wouldn't want to capture this in motion, right? So we're gonna do two things. We're actually gonna swap the camera and we're gonna swap this head here for a slider and put the head back on, then put the camera on. And I'll show you, it takes honestly under a minute to do. So let's just go for it right here. You can see we have the exchange plate right here. I have unlocked it. I can pop off the head. This is everything right here. And then I'll take this real quick. It has a plate on the bottom and one on top. I can pop this right on and you can see it's already locked. But for extra security, I can re-engage the lock so that I can't open it back up. Now, I can take the camera back and pop that on top. You can see that's on, can't pull it off. And again, I can lock it for that extra safety. Why not? We are over a bridge. So now I can't move this, I can't pop it off. And then, in one fell swoop, I can take the camera off, thank you. Whoops. And I can pop this right on here. And now we're in video mode. One final check. I'm just gonna make sure my bubble level is all set. And we're good to go. So I'll find the time of that in the edit, but I trust that it was pretty fast.
Like I said, a minute. Now, even though switching to the slider was very easy, Venice is busy, so we chose to stay as compact as possible for most of the walk and elected to not use the slider again. The 500X head itself does feel and does operate more like a video head, but the counterbalance can be disabled for photographers who prefer it off.
I needed that. It's hot outside, but we're gonna take a break for some lunch, so let's just break this down real quick. I'll show you. And before I do that though, we gotta talk about a new bag. And yes, I know, it's a bag, but there's actually a lot going on here. And the first thing I wanna show you is that the top on the sides flip open like this. It stays open and turns into a bit of a basket here. So that allows you to put your tripod in without having to worry about holding it open. And you know how I know this? Well, I spoke to just the person to explain everything about it to me. So Linda, there's some new bags too. You're one of the designers on them. Can you tell me everything I need to know about the bags?
I will start with my favorite feature of this bag, that is the fact that it's a bag that stays open and a clear visibility, and I think it's something important, especially also when you are shooting inside in a studio or in a dark room, dark places.
I've told a few people it's actually really hard to keep a tripod bag open, especially when you're putting it back in.
Yeah.
So this is really cool.
Yeah. Another part that I think it's important is of course the padding, because tripod and all this stuff that go inside this bag must be protected, so we take particular care about the padding. The red part is heavy padded, and especially in the head area. But there is a kind of hidden padding also on the top of the bag. It's more thicker here and thinner there. Another part, of course, but this is pretty standard, that we have a zipper where you can eventually remove and store the handle of the tripod, the fan bar. And we added also a small pocket for the air tag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
nice.
It's hidden, it's not so visible, but it's present in the bag.
That's important these days, yeah.
It's on purpose, not so visible. What else? What about the outside? We are always using YKK zipper, so the zipper is pretty strong. And we have two handles in this way, and this portability that I think it's...
I'll be finding out tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And regarding the shape of this bag, we tried to design something unique, something recognizable. So this shape, a little bit squared, help also to the stackability.
I was just gonna say, storing these, especially, well, you know, we travel a lot, so we have to basically throw 3 or 4 of these bags.
Absolutely, it's designed for.
Wow, really cool. All right.
So one thing you're not seeing here is that our team actually had multiple One systems to use. And yes, it was to record each other in multiple configurations. We swapped between vertical and horizontal orientation in seconds, and even with longer lenses and multiple microsiever's, the tripod head never budged and the legs stayed firmly in place. But there was one setup we had yet to try out.
So one more feature I had to talk about today. This is really cool. Photographers might be familiar with this already. We're actually gonna use it for video though, just because, you know, we have this ultimate hybrid use here. So before we begin, I must let you know we have practiced this a little bit, just to make sure we do it right, because we are, as you can see, overlooking the water, and I don't want to take any chances here. One thing I'm gonna do and note here is that the tripod does have a little hook here to add weight. So if you have like sandbags, for example, or in this case, we've added some weight to a backpack, I'm just going to put it here and give it a little extra weight on the bottom for what we're about to do. So the column here can be lifted up and rotated and turned 90 degrees and then angled all the way out. So let me show you how that's done. I've already set up everything else to make this as quick as possible. So we're gonna just unlock the column, pull it up, and you can see here that this part comes out and there's a lock, a button underneath that lets you get that final push. Then you can arc it over and start pushing it back. And then we can angle it. I'm going to just rotate the head at the same time into position and then pull this back a little bit so we get where we want. And then I'll lock it all off. So just like that. And this gets you straight down angles. So luckily, this works perfectly. But yes, I understand how this would, you know, give a little anxiety out there. So let's roll on this and see what we can get. So what I can do here is I can use this, the whole column, as another pan arm and take these really nice low angle shots sweeping across the bridge. So boats come in and right under. Beautiful, beautiful.
As the sun descends, the steps of the crowd cast a long shadow. You can find a scene everywhere you look, and that makes you ask, where are they going? What are they talking about? What's their connection to this city? Even though we were on uneven streets and steps and had to react at a moment's notice to whatever shot was out there, I couldn't stop thinking about how useful this setup would be in the mountains we saw the day before. And I couldn't bring myself to do it, but don't think for a minute that I didn't want to shoot overhead shots of all the food I had. Maybe next time.
I'm in awe, honestly. The whole experience has just been incredible, beautiful. There's no way you could possibly capture all of this in one day, let alone a week or more. But I gotta say, I had an easier time than I thought I would because I did have Manfrotto ONE system on me. And the auto leveling alone is just one of the key features that really make it possible. To get around, you know, you have to go up and down stairs constantly, and that really saves so much time. I can't tell you how much time, I was thinking about it in my head, how much time I would spend bringing up the legs and down, leveling things, even switching to things like the slider, but it was easy. But I'm exhausted. So let us know what you think of the tour, of the city, of the tripod, everything in the comments below. I'm Doug with B&H, and if you don't mind, I need an espresso. So long.